Well, hello everyone, I'm John McElroy, and I'm your host for the Florida Aviation Network. We are broadcasting live and in the clear from the airport's terminal building here at Sebring Airport during the U.S. Sport Aviation Expo 2018. We are flying into the future. And my next guest is Chris Thomas with Multi-GP. Welcome to the show. It's
Thanks
nice to have
for
you
having
with
me.
us.
Yeah, Sebring is a place where I visit quite often, actually. It's my location for most of my $100 hamburgers.
So we're with Chris Thomas, Multi-GP, and you're the founder of this company, and it actually started here across the hall at the snack shop, right? At the restaurant.
Well, I actually operate out of an airport, Valkyrie Airport, which is just 20 minutes east of here, and that's where we race. But it was after a couple of days of flying drones that we were just having breakfast here one day and just discussing the idea of organizing a league, and it's grown into a worldwide league now.
Very good, and I've been watching it too. I watched it on its first time when you were here, and I know that this is the first race in the series of races that you've been building up. So, you know, taking it from that idea and then those handful of guys that are racing to what it is today, that just must be so exciting and blow your mind, really.
Absolutely, just like building anything, it's been amazing to see it grow from where we started with just a couple of guys racing in a field. To now where we're kicking off the 2018 season here in Sebring. And this is a big race. This is something that pilots, you know, they don't come just for the prize. It is the start of the year. You know, for many people up north, it's cold. So in
the series of races that begin. So how many races are there in the year during a series?
Well, so overall you're looking at 8 races that are combined for this racing series. This one alone, just winning this race is something to be proud of because there's a big prize to be had.
$40,000.
And the talent level is top notch. We've got pilots here from Denmark. We've got the champion from Australia. We've got pilots in from the UK. I mean, if you're a great drone pilot and you race, you're either here or you're online wishing you were here.
Now, some of the guys who are watching this now are familiar with the DRL and the Drone Racing League. So the people that we're seeing, those are some of those pilots, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
They're here right now.
Right. Yeah. If you follow the Drone Racing League, which a lot of us love, it's a great series. Jordan Timkins, who's the 2-time reigning champ, he's out there competing, and you know, it's a small community. Most everyone knows each other, especially when you go to these events. These pilots, they've met each other, and it's like getting back together with your friends. So they're competitive, but they're also really good friends.
I love it. Are you racing today, or are you just putting on the show?
You know, one of the downsides, one of the sacrifices I've had to make as in the role that I've been in is that I have not been able to race. You know,
I understand.
And at this point, I'm probably not competitive. The guys have gotten to be so good, and I don't practice, you know.
And it takes being in it to stay in it, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, how did you get your start? Did you build your own, or did you buy one? Were you, how did that, were you a radio control guy? Were you a pilot? Are you a pilot now?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I am a pilot. At the time, I was flying powered parachutes almost exclusively, but I do have my private pilot's license as well. What got me into it is I was racing cars, and we find that a lot of people come to this hobby not just from aviation, you know, because you get a lot of the same excitement you do racing anything, whether it's a car, a boat, a motorcycle. You get it with FPV without the cost and without the risk. So that's what it originally got me in. I saw it, I thought it was amazing. I flew, I fell in love with the racing feel, and then from there it just evolved into this organizing up into where we've gotten today.
Well, FPV, I think, was the breakthrough. And for those of you who don't know, that's first-person video. So you're in the craft, and it's a technical link between a transmitter, a video camera, and a transmitter to a receiver that you're wearing over your eyes. And people are beginning to awaken to the idea of AR, VR, artificial reality, virtual reality, and first-person video, which is real-time action. This isn't just a simulation. This is the real deal. So those are the distinctions, right?
Sure.
And we're seeing some of the technology blend, the hybrid of AR in FPV, as it were, is OSD, which is on-screen display, right? That's the big thing,
Absolutely.
isn't it?
You know, when it comes to the FPV, it takes a moment to get used to it. And if you're a new pilot like me, I've only been flying a couple of years fixed wing. I remember when I would look out the front of the airplane and I didn't know what the sight picture of a straight and level flight was, right? And when that breakthrough comes and all of a sudden you just see what it feels like to fly, now you're a pilot, right? That's a big breakthrough in becoming a pilot.
Absolutely.
And so with FPV, it's the same thing. When you first put the goggles on, at first you see, you know where you're going, but you can't tell, am I going straight, am I going down, or am I going up? And that's the big breakthrough when you really become an FPV pilot. But once that happens, it's just like flying an aircraft.
Yeah, it's like you've strapped it on, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you're in it. Well, that's great. When was that moment for you? How long ago? It wasn't that long ago, was it?
2015. I was out at a field right near the Valkyrie airport. They've designated an area for us to fly.
Oh, great. I didn't know that. I mean, I fly into Valkyrie all the time.
Yeah, so Steve Borowski, who's the airport manager over there at Valkyrie, great guy. He has been a huge help, not only just in helping us find a place to get started, but just in knowledge. You know, he's been around racing his whole life and aviation.
Great.
So he's been a big resource for us.
Where's the track compared to the airport?
So if you're at the airport, it's right there on the northwest side.
Oh, good.
It's used for the overflow parking for some of the events that they do out there. But we've got a great place where we race, and it's convenient. So if you're a pilot and you want to race drones, you come up to one of the races, you can fly over and just the track's nearby.
Now, I probably watched you fly your powered parachute back in the day and didn't know it was you at the time, because I would have been there flying Amphib Sea Rays, which are
with
being
Jim,
built there with Jim Ratty.
Yeah.
And you know, Jim and I worked together many years, so that's how I would have seen you there. But I didn't know all the work that you've done to create a racing league with multi-GP. And is that really where people find you? Is they go on to multigp.com, and then boom, now they can come out to Valkyrie or their local chapters? How's that working?
Well, you know, most of my work now has kind of gone beyond local level organizing. I'm traveling the world, helping to get drone racing going. It's a passion project that I've just been pursuing. I love this, and I know that when I was younger, if I had discovered something like drone racing, it could have had a major impact in my life.
Well, it did, and you know, isn't it funny? You know, watching how I was as a high school student trying to learn geometry and trigonometry, and I was like, what are they talking about? And as soon as you get into this and you put one together and you go, well, why didn't they say so?
I hear it all the time from parents, you know, saying how much it has improved their kids in flying. You know, they've learned electric engineering, they've learned to solder, they've learned to diagnose problems, do troubleshooting, they've learned programming, and not because they wanted to learn any of those, but that's what it takes to get really good at the sport. That's what it took to
get the darn thing flying.
Yeah, so we've tricked them into learning, which, hey, if they learn, who cares how they learn?
Boy, I'll never forget trying to set some of the parameters up on my Arduino. You know, I had an Arducopter that had absolutely no programming whatsoever, and that's how I learned it, and so I can appreciate what you're getting at. And those of you who aren't into this yet, I got to tell you, you want to have a good time? This is it. Get yourself into a drone kit. Sure, you could go out and get one that's already built. That's one thing. But what we're talking about here is getting really hands-on, getting some electronic solder grease underneath your fingernails, right? You're smelling solder fumes, and you're on your laptop programming NAS 32 controllers that we just saw with Clean Flight, trying to figure out what the PID's settings are going to be and how to.
You can go as technical as you want, or you can go as easy as you want. I mean, you can also, let's say that you don't have a medical right now and you want to fly. You can go down to the store and buy an aircraft, buy a pair of goggles, put it on, figure it out, and the next thing you know, you're getting the same feel as you would behind the stick.
I have a friend that did exactly that. Seriously, long-time, high-time airline pilot, no longer could fly, temporarily, mind you, gets into it, is finally, feeling good again about things because he's in the drone scene, having a good time, sitting in his chair out in the middle of a field, enjoying the sunny day, flying his little tail off around trees and having a good time. And, how good can that be?
It's also a great aviation community. A lot of these younger people are getting started in this. They don't realize that they're pilots because getting into flying is different today than it was years ago. So they're coming in, they're loving it, but no matter your age, there seems to be a common denominator in that it's just about flying.
It's
a different way to do
it. For sure. So what's your style of flying? Are you an acro guy? Are you a race guy? How does it come up for you?
Oh, I love racing. There is something about pushing yourself past your limits, and that only happens on the track. But there's no risk. It's not like you're in the aircraft. So I love to get on a track. I love to race against people who are better than me. And that's really what I love about FPV.
Wow. So tell me, let's go back a little bit about today and what's happening here at the U.S. Sport Aviation Expo 2018. This is the third year here.
So this is the second one.
The second.
Yeah,
so last year was
race.
first, okay. And compared to that series began last year here as well. Now we're into the second time. How's it going? It's as far as I can tell,
it's excellent. I mean, the pilots are phenomenal. The talent, because last year was such a success.
The word went out.
This is the first big event this year. So guys came in from everywhere to compete in it. They're out there setting records right now. I know that right now the record being held is under 30 seconds. Someone just ran a lap under 30 seconds. Today, yeah.
Wow.
It's unbelievable. The G-forces are probably somewhere over 30 Gs in the turns that these aircraft are taking.
I said 20, and then you're calling 30. I don't doubt it with those kind of lap speeds. What, for people who don't know what the track looks like, mind you, what's the distance out there right now?
That's a good question. I've not seen a total distance of the course. I would say we're probably looking at something about 1/3 of a mile in length. And the beautiful part about a drone race track is you can go any direction, up, down, left, right, loops around loops, whatever. We can make anything into a track.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about the track and the technology that goes into that. You've got transponders. Right. That's how you tell the lap timing.
No, actually, that's recently changed.
Oh, good.
We've removed the transponders from the aircraft, and now we're using the radio that sends out the video signal, because each transmission signal is unique.
Okay.
We know what aircraft is on what transmission, and when it hits its peak signal strength, that's where it's going through our gate. So we use that for timing.
You're using dB coming off of the transmitter.
Correct.
On the craft to time the gate.
So that's some of the new technology that we've developed over the last year.
Wow. That's how long it's been since I've flown. What is that, 3 weeks ago?
It seems like that sometimes, yeah.
So, all right, we're going to wrap this up. I know you and I could probably talk about this all day, and I really love doing that. So we're going to finish up with our last little comment here. Is there anything you want to tell the folks about?
Yeah, if this is something you're interested in, you want to see, you just want to go to visit one of these, go to our website. It's multigp.com. And look for chapters. You'll find a local group near you where people get together, typically on the weekend. Normally there's no cost, so it's a good way to meet other people who like to fly.
It's great. Thanks so much for being with us today. I've had a great time talking to you.
Thanks.
All right. I'm John McElroy with the Florida Aviation Network, and we're broadcasting live and in the clear at the U.S. Sport Aviation Expo 2018. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you with our next guest.